Welcome back to the channel. I'm super pumped today because we're diving into one of the most unexpected and exciting matchups in college football history, the 2026 College Football Playoff National Championship between the number 1 Indiana Hoosiers and the number 10 Miami Hurricanes. This game's set for January 19th at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida, which means Miami gets the home field advantage. But is it enough to dethrone the undefeated juggernaut from Bloomington? That's what we're here to break down. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We talk college football and NFL history all year round. We got all of it, baby. Today I'm giving you my prediction, complete with team overviews, key players, matchups, and my final score pick. So grab a snack, settle in, and let's get into it. First off, let's set the stage. This isn't your typical championship. Indiana comes in at 15-0, the only unbeaten team left standing, and they've been dominant wire to wire. They're the Big Ten champs, fresh off dismantling Oregon in the semifinals. Miami at 13-2 is the ultimate underdog story. They snuck into the playoffs as a 10 seed after missing out on the ACC championship, then pulled off upsets against Texas A&M, Ohio State, and Ole Miss to get here. It's like a Hollywood script. The powerhouse program from the sunny South versus the gritty Midwestern upstarts who have shocked the world. But before we predict the winner, we gotta understand how these teams got here and what makes them tick. Starting with Indiana, the team everybody's talking about, under second-year head coach Curt Cignetti, who's turned the Hoosiers from a Big Ten doormat into a machine. Remember, this is a program that hadn't won more than 9 games in a season since the early 1800s. At least that's how it feels. Until last year. And now they're chasing perfection. Offensively, it all revolves around quarterback Fernando Mendoza. The guy's a stud, redshirt junior transfer from Cal, and he just became the first Hoosier to ever win the Heisman Trophy. His stats are video game numbers: 257 completions on 352 attempts for a 73% completion rate, 3,349 passing yards, and 41 touchdowns to go with only 6 picks. That's efficiency at its finest. He's got a rocket arm, reads defenses like a pro, and can extend plays with his legs when things break down. In the semifinal rematch against Oregon, he threw for 5 touchdowns and over 175 yards. The kid's definitely going first overall in the NFL draft. Supporting Mendoza is a balanced attack. Running back Roman Hemby is the bell cow, 211 carries for 1,060 yards and 7 scores, averaging about 5 yards a pop. He's shifty, hits holes hard, and takes pressure off the pass game. Then you got Kalen Black chipping in with 169 carries for 961 yards and 10 touchdowns. Solid depth there. The receiving core is deep too. Elijah Sarai and Omar Cooper Jr. stretch the field vertically. Tight end Holden Stays, a transfer from Tennessee, adds a reliable target over the middle. As a unit, Indiana's offense averages 461 total yards per game, 242 through the air, and 218 on the ground, and they've scored 84 touchdowns this season. They're explosive, but also methodical. They control the clock and avoid turnovers with just 7 interceptions all year. Now, let's flip to the defense. This is where Indiana separates themselves. They're allowing just 11.4 points per game overall, and in the playoffs, they've been stingy. 38-3 over Alabama in the quarters, 56-22 over Oregon in the semis. And that 22 mostly came in garbage time. Cornerback D'Angelo Pons is a lockdown guy, 93 overall rating in EA Sports terms with elite speed and ball skills. The front 7 is ferocious. They've racked up over 40 sacks, led by guys like Hosea Wheeler on the line. Linebacker Aiden Fisher flies around making plays, and the secondary has picked off 18 passes. They're physical, disciplined, and they swarm to the ball. No big plays allowed, and opponents average under 300 yards against them. Indiana's path to the title game? As a number 1 seed, they got a first-round bye. Then they steamrolled Alabama and beat up on Oregon. They've won every game by double digits except their early season nail-biters with Iowa and Penn State. The team is peaking, confident, and playing with a chip on their shoulder. Alright, shifting gears to the Miami Hurricanes. Mario Cristobal's squad has been resilient, no doubt. At 13-2, they dropped games against Louisville and SMU during the regular season. Both close, both due to turnovers and penalties. But they rebounded and earned their playoff spot. In the postseason, they've been clutch, beat number 7 Texas A&M in the first round, upset number 2 Ohio State in the quarters, and edged out number 6 Ole Miss 39-34 in a thriller semi. Quarterback Carson Beck is the engine. Transfer from Georgia. He's got championship experience from backing up there. His stats are 319 of 430 for 73.3% completion, 3,581 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. He's accurate, especially on intermediate routes, and he can air it out. Longest pass of the year was 61 yards, but he's prone to forcing throws under pressure. The run game is a committee-based. Mark Fletcher Jr. leads with around 1,080 yards and 10 scores. He's powerful between the tackles. Sharmar Brown adds speed with 469 yards, and Gerard Pringle Jr. has 375 as a change-of-pace guy. They average 4.2 yards per carry as a team, solid but not elite, and 154 rushing yards per game. Passing weapons. Malachi Toney is the star, 1,089 receiving yards on the year with his quickness and yards after catch ability. Keelan Marion brings deep threat vibes with 760 yards, and Josiah Trader is emerging as a slot guy. Tight end Elijah Lofton chips in over the middle. Overall, Miami's offense puts up around 409 yards per game, 254 passing and 155 rushing, and a total of 60 touchdowns. They're explosive when clicking. Defensively, Miami's got talent. They allow 14.8 points per game, which isn't bad, but they're giving up big plays and losses. Edge rusher Reuben Bain Jr. is a disruptor with double-digit sacks, and Akeem Messador bolsters the line. In the secondary, Domari Brown and Keontae Scott are ball hawks, 16 team interceptions. Linebacker Mohamed Tor led in tackles. They're aggressive with 33 sacks, but discipline issues have hurt them, like in the Ole Miss game where they nearly blew a lead. Miami's playoff runs show heart. They're battle-tested and playing loose as underdogs. Plus, home field advantage at Hard Rock, the crowd will be rocking, maybe 70,000 strong, mostly Canes fans. That energy could swing momentum. Now, let's talk key matchups. These will decide the game. First, Indiana's offensive line versus Miami's pass rush. The Hoosiers have allowed just 22 sacks all year, thanks to guys like Carter Smith at left tackle. If Bain and Messador can't get to Mendoza, he'll pick apart Miami's secondary. But if Miami generates pressure, they could force rare turnovers from Mendoza. Second, Miami's passing attack versus Indiana's secondary. Beck needs to connect with Toney and Marion, but Pons and company are elite at coverage. Indiana's allowed just 13 passing touchdowns all season. If Beck avoids mistakes, Miami can keep it close. One pick six, though, and it's over. Third, run defense. Indiana stops the run cold. Opponents average 3 yards per carry against them. Miami needs to establish Fletcher to open play action, but if Hemby and Black control the ground for Indiana, they'll dictate tempo and wear down the Canes' D. Special teams, both solid. Indiana's got a reliable kicker in the field goal game. Miami's punter pins teams deep. Weather in Miami, mid-70s, so no issues there. Intangibles. Indiana's undefeated, but the pressure, perfection could tighten them up. Miami's loose with nothing to lose and home crowd. But Indiana's discipline versus Miami's flags could be huge. My take, I love the storylines. Miami's redemption arc, Indiana's Cinderella run. But on paper and tape, Indiana is superior. Their offense is too efficient, defense too suffocating, and Miami will score early off crowd noise. Maybe lead at half, but Mendoza rallies in the second half, and Hoosiers pull away late. Final prediction, Indiana 34, Miami 24. They cover the spread, and the game goes over the total. MVP? Duh, it's Mendoza, with 215 yards and 3 touchdowns. What do you guys think? Indiana's dynasty starts here, or Miami shocks the world? Drop your scores in the comments. Like if you agree with my pick, and share this with your football buddies. Thank you for watching. I'll be back with a reaction video after the game. Peace.